What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we're finally here for my Champions League predictions. Round of 16. We've gone through knockout rounds. We've gone through the group stage. Yeah, as I said, we're now into the round 16 of the Champions League, where we have some incredible matches, some rematches, some teams seeking revenge. It's gonna be a great set of round of 16. Let's go ahead and dive into the predictions. Now, you might be hearing a bit of this little monster here throughout the video, but this guy just screams and screams and screams, and he doesn't scream when he's next to me, at least not as much. So enjoy him doing his little dances and stuff. But yeah, as I said, let's get into the video. So let's go ahead and start with the Chelsea versus PSG match. This is gonna be a rematch of that incredible final that we saw in the Club World Cup, the Mickey Mouse tournament that a lot of people were calling, which I quite myself enjoyed. I made a couple videos on it. And wow, what a match this is gonna be. There's two teams who look incredibly bad in their domestic leagues. PSG just lost 3-1 or 3-0 to Monaco, who they beat last week in the knockout stages. And Chelsea, on the other hand, they absolutely dismantled Aston Villa, but they still look incredibly inconsistent. What version of these two teams are we gonna see? Are we gonna see the version of PSG that we saw last year, that absolutely dismantled every single team that it came across, that had the best players, the best teams in the world? Or are we gonna be seeing a PSG of current times, that they seem completely disorganized on defense, cannot trust their center backs, they not trust their goalkeeper as well? And same thing on the Chelsea side. Are we gonna see the Chelsea that played against the Aston Villa and cooked them? Or are we gonna see the Chelsea that's been completely inconsistent, that dropped points against Brentford, or the Chelsea that we could say we're accustomed to when it comes to the Premier League? Now, in terms of the PSG side, of course, you got Fabian and João Neves. The two pillars alongside Vitinha of this midfield are both out. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it against PSG, but it doesn't look that bad. Bruce knee, ankle injury. This first leg, I think it's going to be, first of all, it's going to be played in France. I don't know, this game is probably one of the hardest ones in the whole knockout stages. So I'll give it to, I think Chelsea's going to be able to win. Now, wait, no, let me switch it up. I think PSG is going to be the victors, because yes, I mean, they look really poor, but I mean, when you look at this defense, which looks horrendous, you got a Nuno Mendes that if he chooses to rock up, he'd play well. Pacho, you'd got Marquinhos, same thing, if he chooses to rock up, right? You of course have Hakimi. The midfield is where it's worrying, but the attack does not look horrendous. I mean, you got Barcola, which is probably their worst attacker out of the ones there. Dembele is not injured; he might be picking up form. While on the other side, you got Sanchez. I don't trust Sanchez. I don't like Sanchez. You got, of course, I think their strongest point is the midfield. Like I said, I mean, you got Garnacho on the left-hand side of the wing. Who else do you have there? Absolutely nobody. So it's kind of a tough position. Apart in the attack, Cole Palmer doesn't look incredible. Of course, he can put a moment of brilliance. Joe Pedro been looking good. This is a tough thing. But Chalobah and Fofana, I don't know. It's a tough game. In terms of quality, I think PSG still have it, even though like Stefanov, he was dreadful in the knockout stages, and defensively PSG was, I don't know, I'm telling you, this is really rough. I'll give it to PSG. I think PSG end up winning, and I'll put it 5-4 victory for PSG. That's my prediction across both legs. Next up, we got Liverpool versus Galatasaray. Another repeat, another revenge. This time for the Liverpool, who lost against Galatasaray in the group stage. They lost 1-0. I believe it was in Galatasaray's home. I'm not sure. So this is going to be a very interesting match, especially with the way Liverpool has been going. Now, notably, they have had a couple of injuries that it's gonna hurt them. I'm not gonna say it's gonna hurt them. I mean, we saw how good Galatasaray was and has been at home. Most notably, most recently against Juventus, who Yilmaz was my player that I was like, wow, this guy is absolutely destroying that left-hand side. Is he gonna do the same with Robertson? Maybe, but I feel like it's not. I don't think Yilmaz is gonna be as effective as he was against Juventus. And of course, Liverpool has some players that are catching on to form. Most notably, Florian Wirtz is starting to play really well. Hugh Ekitike, who's hit the ground running as well. Great signing. That guy looks absolutely incredible. So I don't see this Liverpool side losing to Galatasaray. I think this run is gonna end here in the round of 16 for Galatasaray, which is not a bad run, losing to a Liverpool side who, although looked extremely weak, they are still among the best players in terms of quality in the world. So I'll give this knockout round to Liverpool, and I would say they're going to win. I don't see Galatasaray scoring more than 2 goals on them. So let's put it's gonna be a high scoring one. 5-2 victory for Liverpool across 2 legs. Now next up on the left hand side of the bracket, we've got Atalanta versus Bayern Munich. Yes, I'm gonna leave this one to the end of this side's bracket. Anyways, Atalanta versus Bayern Munich. Atalanta, who's the last hope of these Serie A teams to kind of bring that respect, that aura that Serie A teams usually have or used to have, because of course Inter came out against Bodo Glimt. We saw Napoli, the defending champions, not even qualify for the knockout round. Absolutely got dogged in the table. But similarly to the Liverpool versus Galatasaray game, Bayern Munich, on the other hand, as opposed to Liverpool, they're actually one of the best, if not the best team in the world at this time. I mean, apparently the front attacking threat, Harry Kane, Michael Olise, and Luis Diaz are on track to break the record of goal contribution between the three that was set by NMS or MNS, the Messi, Neymar, Suarez dynasty that they marked back in 2014. So this is gonna might be a trashing for Atalanta. I think they got very, very lucky up against Borussia Dortmund. I mean, Borussia Dortmund pretty much had this leg won, or the previous leg won. We're gonna see their classicer once again in the Champions League. But Ben Sebaini, man, he was absolutely dreadful in that second leg for Borussia Dortmund. He gave away the first goal. He was poor defending on the second goal. And then, of course, a penalty at the end of the game. Just reckless challenge. It was bad. Limbs everywhere. Horrendous match by Ben Sebaini. Atalanta should not be in this position. They generated chances, but clear good chances, not many. Now, apparently, there's an injury on Manuel Neuer. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it into the match, but I'll be honest, I doubt that's going to influence much on this result. I mean, as I said, Bayern is quite literally one of the best, if not the best team in the world right now. That attack is moving absolutely insane, and doesn't seem like they're missing anybody crazy apart from Alphonso Davies. Of course, he's been injured pretty much throughout the season, so they've been able to adapt. And apparently Harry Kane has a knock. I don't know if he'll be able to make it, but this team is still incredibly dangerous. The first leg is gonna be in Bergamo for Atalanta, and then the second leg is gonna be in Munich, in Bayern. But yeah, I simply don't see this going much well for the Italian teams. I think it's the end for Serie A in the Champions League for this season. And as far as score prediction goes, I feel I'm smelling a 6-3 or 6-2 defeat. This is going to be a very important game because defensively, Bayern Munich has not... Offensively, they've proven they've got it there. Defensively, we don't know yet, right? Defensively, there's a lot of talks that maybe Barcelona, they're on par with Barcelona defensively. Of course, maybe not as bad. But if you're facing a team like Atalanta, if they're able to keep a clean sheet, that would be massive for this Bayern Munich. We'll see how they're able to play. But yeah, I think I'm going with a 6-3, which it's a good result on paper, right? Yeah, it means the attack is firing at all cylinders. But defensively, conceding 3 goals to this Atalanta team, I'd be very concerned. Now, finally, Real Madrid versus Manchester City. The matchup that absolutely nobody wanted to watch. Two teams that are mediocre at best this season. Very similar to last season. Now, yes, people are saying City is coming back right. They're playing very well, which they are playing a lot better than they were playing last year when we met them. And we're playing a lot worse than we were. Actually, we are playing a lot worse than we were playing last year. Of course, this is going to be an incredibly bad matchup for, I believe, both of us. I mean, City could have gotten Bodo Glimt. I'm not discounting Bodo Glimt, but come on, it's Bodo Glimt. And on the other side, we could have gotten Sporting. I'm not expecting much on this match. I mean, let's go ahead and check the injury list. Look at that injury list. Look at that. Carreras might be out. David Alaba might be out. Eder Militao, of course, he's out. Dani Ceballos, Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, and Rodrigo. Rodrigo, my prayers go out to him. I mean, he's might miss the World Cup, which is horrendous due to an ACL tear. And of course, Kylian Mbappe, I don't know if he's going to even play the rest of the season or if he's going to wait for the World Cup. Real Madrid is in a mess. Real Madrid is looking worse and worse with each game. I haven't made a video on Real Madrid because I really don't think there needs to be one. I've stated everything that needed to be stated in my previous videos. Y'all can go ahead and watch those. I never expected much from Arbeloa, especially with the ways that he was talking about. He's a Florentino shield. That's all. That's the best way to sum it out. We don't have the talent. If I'm gonna say a new point that I haven't said in my previous videos, is that this Real Madrid does not have the quality to afford not to get coached. Have friends. I have seen many people make the argument, oh, this Real Madrid has never been coached. This Real Madrid does not have a Cristiano Ronaldo or Ramos or Casemiro or Toni Kroos or Modric. It's got a bunch of young players that are immature, bunch of players that don't know what position to play. They look completely lost every single time they play. And that's the best way to sum up this Real Madrid team. Of course, there's some good things. Thiago Petach, I like the way he played against Celta Vigo, but this is not a Real Madrid video. We're gonna get dogged by Manchester City. We'd get blessed if we didn't get dogged, right? Hopefully, Vinicius Jr. is able to pull something good. He's been playing okay. He's been playing all right this couple seasons, but you see City's team, you got Haaland up top with Phil Foden. Phil Foden is not really a threat, I'll be honest. But Semenyo has been firing crazy since he got into Manchester City. You got Cherokee, who was a pain in the ass to deal with him last time that we faced him just a couple months ago. My heart says we're gonna win because it's Real Madrid. We pull things out of the ass. I don't even know where they come from. But my head, of course, I cannot deny the signs that are right there. That we're gonna get put on the ground and shot up right here. Just make it quick, right? Now, what's my prediction? If we win with like a 4-3, 6-5 result. I'm gonna go conservative, 4-2 result. But let's go ahead and go with let's go with the 6-5 result for Real Madrid. We're going through, and we're going up against Bayern, where I think we could get a result there. I think we could win that one too. Moving on to the right-hand side of the bracket, we of course have Barcelona-Newcastle, a rematch of that table game that was actually very good. Last-minute goal from Rashford, I believe, or it was a close game, 2-1 victory for Barcelona. This is gonna be a good matchup. Now, what do I think will happen? I think Newcastle plays very well in the Champions League. They beat Karabakh 9-3. Which, in the grand scheme of things, people would say, oh, it's Karabakh. But I mean, we saw Inter Milan not being able to do the job, losing. And we don't see many results where it's like a 9-3 against, regardless of the size of the team, right? It is threatening, right? But let's not remove the context On the Newcastle side of things, I mean, Anthony Gordon has been dreadful for Newcastle, especially in big, massive games. This team is not bad. I just don't see this Newcastle being able to beat a Barcelona like this. I mean, we saw Barcelona got dogged by Atletico Madrid 4-0 and damn near came back. I don't see Newcastle playing the same way that Atletico Madrid played. I think they play a lot more offensive. They don't like to stay back. They don't like to drop back. They're very passionate though, and that's where I would say that Barcelona could struggle in that midfield area. Because I mean, you're seeing Mar Bernal, Pedri, and Fermin Lopez against Tonali, Joe Linton, and Ramsey. Ramsey being the weaker of the three physically in that midfield. So how is this Barcelona going to be able to cope? I don't know. But you have different makers like Lamine Yamal who are playing incredible. And Rafinha, of course, who's able to finish everything. It's going to be a tight game, a high-scoring game by both sides. I think this game is going to end 6-5 or 6-4 for Barcelona, sadly. And then they're going to move on to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Moving on to one of the weirdest games that we will see. We got one of the most inconsistent teams in La Liga in Atletico Madrid. And one of the worst teams in the Premier League of the top 6, Tottenham, who are fighting for relegation. I mean, these guys were competing for Champions League just 6 years ago. This is absolutely insane. First of all, if Tottenham beat Atletico Madrid, there's gonna have to be serious talks about La Liga being washed, because that should not happen. So let's keep it simple, right? Of course, Spurs has had a lot of injuries. I mean, if we just look at the injury list that they have, it is gigantic what we are seeing right now in comparison to the injury list for Atletico Madrid. Paulo Barrios, the only player who's injured for Atletico Madrid. So yeah, if Atletico Madrid lose this match to Spurs, lose any match in general, while the conversations that are going to be going on in Spain for La Liga are going to be insane. So I'm going to go with the easy route, a 5-3 victory or 5-2 victory for Atletico Madrid. We know those guys concede a lot, but I don't see them losing this match. Moving on to Bodo Glimt versus Sporting. Two Cinderella stories, two teams that are going to make it. One team is going to make it into the quarterfinals, marking history for whatever country they are representing. This is going to be a good match. Sporting, we know that they have some great players. Luis Suarez has been popping off for Sporting recently, and they just beat one of their rivals for the title. Actually, first place Porto 1-0. While on the other side, of course, you got Bodo Glimt, a team who has had incredible results, similar to Sporting actually, and have been insane in this Champions League. Knocking out Inter Milan, beating Atletico Madrid at home. Atletico Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano, beating Manchester City. These are massive results. And they play quite entertaining counter-attacking football. It's not boring, completely pragmatic type of football. Now, what Sporting has, as opposed to teams like Inter Milan, Manchester City, these massive teams, is they lack the same amount of pressure. Maybe in Portugal, the fans think Bodo Glimt are difficult, but they don't think they should be walking over them, right? While on the other hand, you got Inter Milan, who came in kind of with their second team in the first match and then realized, wow, these guys are actually freaking good. And of course, we can't discredit the fact that Bodo Glimt has that environmental advantage when it comes at home with how cold it is. So I think the first match, Sporting has the want, Sporting has the capacity to get a draw. I think it's gonna be a 1-1 draw in Bodo Glimt, right? And then they're gonna take it back to Portugal, and Sporting's gonna be able to score 3-1. So I'd say a 4-2 victory for Sporting. It's gonna be a very tight match though. Of course, the result may not seem right, but it's gonna be one goal and one goal, and then 2 goals, and then like last minute another goal, and then it's gonna be a 3-1. So yeah, I see Sporting be able to get through against this Bodo Glimt. Sadly, Bodo Glimt, I don't see them going out in this round over into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So yeah, 4-2 victory for Sporting. Now, our final match, I don't want to dive much into this. This is going to be probably the most boring match that there is going to be going on in this Champions League. Arsenal versus Bayern Leverkusen. Arsenal win. I mean, Leverkusen, yes, they have that, but they don't have the facilities that they had under Xabi Alonso. They don't have that team. They don't have that creativity. They damn near barely got through Olympique Lyon. Yes, they scored 2 goals, but it seems like it's a chore for them to score. And against this Arsenal, who have the best defense in the world, I don't see them getting much chances. And we know how Arsenal plays. They're gonna get a corner. I think it's gonna be a 3-1 victory over the cross of 2 legs. I don't even think they score actually. A 3-0 victory for Arsenal over the cross of 2 legs. I think it's gonna be a 1-0 victory in Germany, and then a 2-0 victory in the Emirates Stadium. But yes, guys, I guess who I am going to have for the quarterfinals is gonna be Arsenal versus Sporting, Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. The rematch, I hope Atletico Madrid win that if it comes to that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We're gonna see Bayern versus either City or Real Madrid. I'm not gonna commit. Madrid still got it. I beg they still have it. And Galatasaray, not Galatasaray. Liverpool versus, I even forgot who I picked for this one. I think I picked PSG. So Liverpool versus PSG. Those are my quarterfinal picks that are going to be going on. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.